Hey, it's a Tuesday. As we get into December, and it's double-digit times. We're in December 10th. Those of you watching at home, it should be interesting. It's got a poem thing we're going to get to here in a moment. We're going to talk about the idioms homework to help out kids who seem to be struggling and yelling at me.
You spelled idiom though.
Ah, man, I'm such an idiom. So, on here, before I show you a couple examples to help you out again, make sure that you have done the direction-y thing, where you have complete sentences, which has been part of the issue. One of the main things you want to look for with a complete sentence is, do you have a subject and do you have a verb? Because if you start with your sentence with the word to, you probably don't have a subject in your sentence, and it's going to end up costing you a complete sentence. This is also where I've learned apparently we're going to have to do an IXL, because yes, as I went through and did all our idioms, the number of kids who then kept asking me, is this a noun, is this a verb, is this a subject, implied that apparently we don't know what nouns, verbs, and subjects are.
I'm never going to learn what those are.
I know, that's why we're going to do those IXLs to help
No,
you guys out.
I've had so many IXLs like that, but I've never learned what it is.
Apparently we're going to have to give you even more than. So, example thing to help you out, we have, can you please not cry over spilled milk? Figurative is where you know the thing to mean. So you have to just come through and say, you should not be upset about something that already happened. That is the common everyday meaning of don't cry over spilled milk. Then you would have the one or the literal where you take it word for word. This is where you have cannot tear up. So tear up connected to cry. Over dropped liquid, that would be the milk from a cow. So that's where you have to go through and explain this. It's like that. So trying to make sure they connect in some way. Elin, did that help explain things if I show you a picture? No. Can I help explain things?
Let me do it.
Yes, this requires you to ask a question.
I'm going to ask a question.
Yes, that's why I'm asking you to ask a question.
Okay, so if you tell this girl to break a leg, then what do I put over here? A broken foot?
Well, what does the figurative meaning mean?
Like do a good job?
So that you're not saying break a leg, you're saying do a good job. Yes.
And then over here, it's a person with a broken foot. Yeah.
Look at the learning happen.
No wonder why.
Yes.
Oh.
Gives you another example to try to help you out. My stomach is growling. Then you'd have I am super hungry. And my belly is yowling. With a little kitty. Does it look like a little demon? The ball is on your side of the court, means it's your decision to make, or the sphere is in your half of the field.
I do know some boys handwriting.
What? How could you tell? It's such good.
Because it's whack.
Wow, poor Matthew.
My brother's is worse than that.
All right.
So is mine. Like,
So we're good to go on these bits. You'll be turning them in Friday. So my goal is that you get to use it on the quiz because you have notes on the back of it. And then after the quiz, you will turn it in so that I can grade it. But I don't want to take it from you ahead of time so that way you can use the notes. Lily.
Why do the other people get like a 12 out of 10? You only got 10.
Because of the drawings.
It depends on the drawings and the effort that I see put into it.
Whoa,
Hey,
you're
looks
gonna
like
be
you
giving
got
me a
effort
15
into it.
out of
Yeah,
10.
he's not good.
He's a horrible drawer. He needs to go to art.
Well, no. It's not even that bad. It's supposed to be a
Didn't say it
Imagine.
was. He got an A+.
Then why'd you give him? Why is the wall? Wait, what?
He got an A+.
10 out of 10.
Oh,
out of
I
10.
thought it said
Is this
10
new
out
from
of
last
12.
year?
No. This is where the listening comes in. What?
No, I
Is this new
didn't
from last year?
Yeah, he was my student of the year.
Really?
Period.
Oh, I have it in my PE. I'm definitely not being no student of the year.
I agree.
I'm
That Matthew?
Or no?
That's a Matthew.
Oh, I know that.
Is that the Matthew in our facts? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Wait.
That's what I was thinking who it is.
So
Does he have curly hair?
he does have.
Oh,
I know
it
it
is.
is. For
Matthew's last name
Yeah.
is not Perez.
It's
so
not.
I don't think so.
You can now put white paper away if you want. Now we just need other paper things.
Ew, why do we have to go back to poems?
Because we're still doing poems.
I don't like poems though.
I'm shocked.
About like
Annabelle Lee.
Well, in that case, we won't do a poem yet. Let's do a poem.
Who's Annabelle Lee?
We're gonna find out. It's not on there. You have to get a new handout tomorrow. And then I think Essence is gonna choose our person.
I just
She
did it
definitely
really
seems
fast.
excited about it. All right, Essence. Looks like we're choosing, I think, 7. 1, 2,
6, 7, 7.
3. Oh, we're down to 5 people.
Don't you mind?
All right, Essence.
Yay!
Never mind. Charlotte wants to rob you of your joy.
Charlotte, you are being very...
I'm sorry.
Yeah, how dare you
I thought
volunteer?
I thought Charlotte already went.
She had not.
Wait.
I see.
Wait.
For the simile, like or as you shall see, with a metaphor, use them no more. Comparing a two is what you will do. So guys, she actually has
Flex, five.
Oh, I get the pink? Yes. She's number one, I think.
No, you do not.
No,
Look at that kid stepping up.
Jared. What the heck, Jared?
For real, for real.
For the simile, like or as you shall see, but with metaphor using no more. Comparing the two nouns is what you shall do.
Nicely done.
Flex.
And that's a Jared.
Point it whisper.
Flex, flex. Oh.
It's okay. A lot of other people didn't whisper. You have to whisper.
Maybe that was as much whispering as it is.
Jared.
That's why Jared is such a loud kid.
Jared, 1 or 2 tomorrow, okay? No, please no, please no. Oh.
So, on your paper, go to backside of it.
It's two.
Wait, Celia, how do you went?
So you're gonna see on the left, the one that's, there you go, the one that doesn't have your notes on it is the backside. And then you look to the left, and there's that really weird poem.
Injustice.
That's the one where it says unjust. This is the poem we're gonna take a look at here in a moment.
Can I erase
Which
it?
is gonna be, sure, you wrote it.
I know, but it was for like what we have to do.
On here, we get to have 2 new voluntary people. Ooh, there's a 1 voluntary person and a 2 voluntary person. Let's give Elin stanzas 1 through 4, and then we'll give Melina 5 through 9.
Oh, wait, that's
I know, I like her more, that's why.
8, 9.
I got it!
If it helps, on the screen, I've split it into stanzas 1 through 4 and 5 through 9.
I know how to count.
I'm so proud of you. In this one, we are going to be a little confused as we get through poem. I know, but by the end of it, we're going to be less confused. I have faith. All right, Elin, you ready?
For the little dash things, do I have to stop?
As in, like, little dash thing there?
Yeah.
No. So, before you begin reading, this guy, E.E. Cummings, is one of those weird poets who decided that he was going to try and break all the poetry rules that are out there, where there's, like, no punctuation throughout the entire thing, and you have this weird spacing. Turns out there's reasons behind all of it. We'll get to that. Blah, blah, blah. All right, Elin,
Okay, ready?
go for it.
And just spring, when the world is malicious, the little lame balloon man whistles far, and we and Eddie and Bill come running for marbles and
Piracies.
piracies, and it's spring. When the world is puddle wonderful.
Good job.
The queer old balloon man whistles far, and we and Betty and what?
Betty and Isbel.
Benny and
Isbel?
Isbel come dancing from hopscotch and jump rope, and it's spring, and the goat-footed balloon man whistles far, and we.
Nailed it. Right? Poem is even easier to understand than caterpillar. So let's all.
Why does it not separate the name and Eddie?
Like Eddie and Bill.
So it's all one.
You're going to find out in a moment. That's part of our learning we're going to
the person that wrote it is just.
do. Yeah, total dummy. He's just a big dumb dumb. So I'll read through it. I'm going to put these questions up there for you. So our goal is by end of class, you are going to be able to answer all of these questions. Where it says, what season does it take place? Who's the main character? What is wrong with the main character? How does he bring people towards him to buy things? What is piracies? What are Eddie and Bill? What are Betty and Isbel? What does goat feet mean? What current connection is there with the poem? You're going to be able to answer all those in a moment. Let's find out. In just spring, when the world is mud luscious, the little lame balloon man whistles far and wee. And Eddie and Bill come running from marbles and piracies, and it's spring, when the world is puddle wonderful. The queer old balloon man whistles far and wee. And Betty and Isbel come dancing from hopscotch and jump rope, and it's spring, and the goat-footed Balloon Man whistles far and
We balloon. It sounds like you can't talk.
That's the way you wrote it. So let's break. So one, this poem was written like 120 years ago. That's it is just barely by a couple years, but it actually is going to connect to your childhood today, which is why I like the poem, because it turns out children have not changed in 100 years. So even though it was written a long time ago, there's going to be a thing that happens in the poem that in a moment, well, not in a few moments, you guys are going to be all excited and yelly because you're going to be able to connect a thing to it.
Dancing, isn't it?
It is. What are you talking? No, it's not the dancing thing, but a good try. That does connect to children every day. Step one, what season is it taking place in? How do you know?
Because it says in spring.
So here's the next question. What part of spring? Because there's evidence that tells us, is it beginning of spring, middle of spring, or the very end of spring?
Middle of spring.
Hang on. I'm going to see by a show of hands which one people feel confident. So how many of you guys say very beginning of spring, middle of spring, the very end of spring?
Oh,
I mean,
We're going to use our imagination. Actually, good morning. Welcome back.
Oh no, why do you have that?
Because I have to use it to demonstrate a thing. What season comes before spring? Winter. What comes after spring?
Summer.
Just making sure we're on top of it. So imagine this is our timeline that we're going through. He hasn't watched the Disney show about it yet, that's why. So if we were going along in this line right here is where it goes from winter time into springtime. Our poem, when it says just spring, means that you are just crossing.
Beginning.
Now we're changing it to Bennett's answer. Problem is, he was the only kid who raised his hand on the beginning of spring. So if you're going along, ooh, by the way, wintertime, what's on the ground in wintertime?
Snow.
Nicely done.
Not here.
When we get to here, what happens to that snow?
It melts and it becomes muddy.
There you go. So that's the part they're getting into. Plus, wintertime, when kids are trapped inside, you finally get to springtime when kids get all excited and they go outside for the first time. It's when you go outside without a coat and your parents are like, wear a coat. And you're like, no, it's like 40 degrees. It's almost summer. And you go running around outside. That's what we're talking about when you have that first nice day you get to go outside. Macy?
But it also rains a lot.
It does, which we're going to get to here in a moment too. That's when we're going to get to this thing, that thing. So, beginning of spring, and then it talks about mud luscious. So, luscious, do you guys know what luscious?
Yes, like luscious hair.
What does luscious hair mean?
Like very
Like
good
soft?
hair.
Yeah. So, luscious is a word that just means goodified. It means good in some way. So if you have luscious hair, it means it's not like ka-cha, sticking out in different directions. It means you're all like luscious. And so, but here it says mud luscious. So what is our luscious applying to?
Mud.
So here's you're going to have to imagine that you're a wee little child and you've been trapped inside all winter. And you have that first nice spring day. And you go outside. What are your parents going to tell you?
Wear your rain boot.
Because what's on the ground?
Mud.
And what do they not want you to do?
Get dirty.
And as a kid, what are you going to do?
Get muddy.
I think you guys have played this game. So mud luscious is we have all of these kids who go outside and they see the mud for the first time. Those are not my children. Those are random internet mud babies. I just typed into their children in mud and that popped up. And I'm
I
like,
don't want to know your
Finally, there's little kids instead of a dog.
I know, right?
What is on her back?
little
Baby.
kids.
That's a little floaty, so in case she falls into the water,
Oh,
you don't want your mud baby to
Oh,
drown.
that's-
You gotta
Why
go
wouldn't you
back.
put something on the baby? Like,
Well, no, that baby's fine. That one floats.
that one floats.
Well, he's eating enough mud. It kind of helps, balance things. They're not my children. They're random.
Why is the one
Okay,
but you have children?
like
You
that.
should
It looks
know.
like a chicken tail.
That is like a little cowlick looking thing back
He
there.
kind of looks like someone I know on Disney. Well, someone in here wouldn't know.
Oh,
You know what he looks like? The guy, like, what's his name? Like Taylor Lautner or something?
Who's that?
Yeah, him.
that guy up there who has the devil face on?
Yeah.
No, Edward is so fun.
I know. Oh my God. So we have the fact it's mud luscious. We have all these little kids who are outside and they're excited about running around in the mud. Then we introduce our main character.
The balloon
Balloon
man.
Man. Oh, yeah.
Now, do you guys know what a balloon man is?
Yes,
Yeah,
the
it's
person that makes
just
balloons.
I'm sorry, back up. Macy, what'd you say it was?
A man
man dressed like a balloon?
That's what I thought you said. How many of you guys have seen a man dressed like a balloon? Uh-huh.
I have.
So I'm going to go with the rest of us who have not seen a random old man dressed up as a
It's
balloon.
someone
By
that
the way,
makes balloons.
they're not dressed up as balloon. Those are just big fat people. It's okay. So, have you guys seen this movie where they have people who go around and sell balloons?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Do
That's,
that in New York.
Disney World.
there's even a Disney movie.
That somebody went.
That someone doesn't know about.
Up is so sad. It's not even funny.
Yeah, he watched the trailer.
The trailer.
So,
If you watch this trailer, it's so sad.
Balloon Man, if you go to a place like a Disney World, or sometimes I have them at fairs and parks, they walk around selling balloons. That's who this guy is. He
Eddie
is
and
our
Bill.
balloon man who is selling balloons. This used to be an actual thing. If you went out to... Oh, look, she's excited. Don't be judgy about her pink face. See, she's dressed up like a balloon.
Her face is a balloon.
So, but our balloon man, they have a word, an adjective to describe our balloon man.
Lame.
Little. Oh.
There is also little also. But lame is a word that has changed over time.
Lame-o.
Not talking about yourself, it's
Not
okay.
not the one TikTok.
So lame, so if you call someone lame now, what does it mean?
You're boring.
Right.
Yeah.
Boring, not very good. You refer to your parents and they sit around on a Saturday night not hanging out with friends. You're like, oh my god, my parents are so lame. That's not what originally lame meant, which still means today. I know we have lame kids in our school. I'm trying to think if we had lame kids in here. I don't know if we currently have lame kids. We'll find out in a moment.
Boy, you know you think. You know. Okay, I'm just.
The actual definition of lame. So, do you guys know the original definition of lame?
No.
Yes.
No.
I'm just kidding.
So, the original definition of lame is whenever you refer to someone who has a broken limb of some kind.
What?
And so,
Yeah, that's what Apple Watch said.
so does that just say what lame is? Yeah. And so, lame originally referred to like a horse that was lame, meant like it broke its little leg. So, if you see a kid in the hallway who has like a wrist brace on or an ankle brace on, you can legally point to them and go, "You're lame," because lame just means the fact that they have broken. If they
It
report
sounds
you
like
to the
limp.
office, you can go, "Legally, they are lame," so you're good to go.
Kind of sounds like a limb.
But the problem
And I'm gonna
is,
be like, Mr. Brovicast, talk
Yeah.
to us about it. So,
totally, and you can refer to this video right now. Where legally, you are good to go. This is a legal thing. I am a lawyer. Totally. So the way it works is that because you had a broken leg, you couldn't go out and play with other people, so you were stuck at home. So eventually when they said that you're lame, it meant the fact that you were boring because you couldn't join everybody else. What does that tell us about our balloon man?
He has a broken limb.
I don't know if it's a broken limb as much as he might just be like an old person that has like a cane. And is doing like a little old person walk thing.
That's so
So
cute.
I didn't know we were gonna have
That's so
that
sad.
for him. But our balloon man wants to make money by selling his balloons. How does he get the kids to come to him?
Eddie and Bill.
Eddie and Bill.
Whistle.
This is where the whistling comes in. And so his whistling is what brings the kids to him.
I
Or
can't
is this-
whistle.
That's
Me neither.
that's
I
what it
can't.
is now. So you would whistle to bring the kids to you, and they would come running up, and he gets to make his money.
But why
Yeah.
don't you go towards somebody if they're whistling?
Because that's,
That's creepy.
well,
Lure.
remember, he's trying to sell balloons, and remember how excited Macy was when she saw the girl with the pink face who's dressing up like a balloon? At one time, you have to remember, 100 years ago, we didn't have TikTok. If you were a kid and you wanted to have an exciting day, a little ball that would float in the air attached to a string was like the most exciting part of your week. And so, nope, that's just you on the weekends. And so here, the fact that the kids could run up and buy a balloon and have a little balloon and you could just run around with it was really exciting. Macy,
How expensive are balloons
back then probably like a penny.
A penny.
A whole shiny penny.
Now it's like
Now the issue is,
$2.59.
as he's going around, all of a sudden the kids start to hear the whistling and they get excited because they get to have a balloon and they get to run up and get their balloon. And we introduce our first two kids into the story. which is
Eddie
me.
and Bill.
Now, here's where you guys were confused about why it's smashed together.
Hey, Bill.
Eddie and Bill.
Eddie and Bill, when they hear the whistling, are in the process of playing games. Marbles and
Piracies.
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 So, You guys seen the marble? Those of you who watched the first Squid Games,
Oh yeah.
the marbles game they had in there, that would be marbles. Piracies.
Isn't it like shoots and ladders?
Oh, they're playing pirates.
So they're doing this thing called using their imagination, and they're hanging out, playing at pirates and playing at marbles, when all of a sudden they hear this guy go by whistling, selling balloons, and the two kids get excited. Because you know, if your friend beats you to the balloon guy first, and he gets the only red balloon, and then you don't get the red balloon, your friend is going to be cool, and all the other kids are going to make fun of you, so you have to get there first. So you have these two boys who all of a sudden are running up to the balloon man to get their balloon first, and when it smashes their names together, it's because the two boys are
Fighting.
As they go running towards him, they're all like, "That's my red balloon!" And they're throwing an elbow in there, they're trying to like body check each other,
That's
trying to get up there to
crazy.
get it first. Super excited to get it.
That's crazy because there's no red balloon.
I know, it already got sold. Those kids are so silly.
Can you like show us what they look like without the faces?
I could not do that because I don't have that ability. And at the last part where it says Puddle Wonderful, what season is it?
Spring.
And what was on the ground?
Puddle.
So what is on there now?
Puddles.
There you go. And so that's why they all go running up to this guy to go buy the balloons.
Like pepper.
Then we get to our next part. Who
I
again?
read that part.
You did. Who is our main character?
Balloon Man.
We introduce a new adjective.
That old.
That is one of the adjectives, but I think
Queer.
that's the one. So that's what we're going to get to. Queer is also a word that has changed over time. Now it's part of the LGBTQ, or queer refers to your who you like gender-wise. That is not what queer originally meant. Do you know the original meaning of queer?
No. It doesn't mean like happy or something.
That's gay. And that's almost every time that people bring up.
that's right.
Gay has also changed over time. Gay originally just meant happy. And then over time, because they thought that that particular lifestyle was happy, they referred to him as gay, being happy.
Oh,
Queer
that's why
is
the Christmas songs are saying that.
there you go, because it meant just happy. The original definition of queer just meant odd or different or strange. Because if you liked someone of the same gender, it was thought that you were different from everybody else. So they just called you queer, not as an attack, but because you were different than all the other people. Here, the queer does not talk about his orientation. It talks about the fact that he's a different person. And the fact that you have this old guy who's going around selling balloons out in this area. What is the worry that now Slavey has about him?
Kidnapper.
And so here's the issue where you have the guy going around with his little cane and his little balloons, and he's whistling for the little children that come running up to him, and he seems a little on the odd or different side, but we're trying not to judge him.
We listen and we don't judge.
There you
We
go.
should do that.
Totally.
We listen and we don't judge. What time?
And then we get to our two new characters, which are going to be
Betty and Isabel.
Are they fighting too?
Oh, Isabel. I thought that was
close. Are they boys?
No.
So they're not fighting.
They're
doing
probably
it just-
Yanking hair.
Well, one, what are the two games they're playing?
Jump rope and
Hopscotch.
Do you guys still play hopscotch? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Kinda.
We're not.
Sometimes.
I don't play it.
It was around
I
100
like
years
to
ago, so
draw
I
it.
wasn't sure. So those of you who have not played hopscotch,
I've never played hopscotch.
it's the one where you toss a little rock out there and you have to like jump, 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 jump.
I used to draw them.
Yeah, it's like
Pick up.
12 foot too.
I do chalk.
Yeah.
And it's numbered.
Or with chalk, with your jump, 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 and then you have the jump roping. So here when it says the boys ran fighting each other, what does it say the girls are doing?
Dancing.
They're like, yeah.
So
They're having
girls
a
are not
dance
quite
off.
the same. So the girls, when they see the balloon man coming and the whistling, they're not throwing elbows at each other because the girls have slightly bigger hearts and they're all excited and they're grabbing their hands and they're going, "We're getting balloons!" And they go dancing and running up there and they're all happy and exciting. And they go running up to the balloon man and then it gets kind of weird.
Oh.
Because after they run up there, it refers to goat-footed. And here's going to be...
That girl has goat foot. Look at that.
Which one? This one down here?
No, the one on the very.
Over there.
No. No.
Over there.
No.
Over there.
Yeah, like that. No. Press the red thing again. Yeah. Yeah, that girl. Like, look at those feet.
Why is she sitting like this?
You guys are so judgy of these poor little clip-arts. So, goat-footed is what's called an illusion. With an A, not illusion, like you make your thumb disappear for a kid, that's an illusion.
That was nice.
Or delusion.
Or delusion, which is what you guys have every day. An allusion means it's a reference to another work of fiction.
That's what my sister.
This is going to be a reference to Greek mythology and a guy by the name of Pan. Pan,
Oh.
if you've seen,
Oh, look at the feet.
what is it, the lightning thief? His friend Grover, who has like the bottom half of a goat. Same guy. If you've seen The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe,
Oh my gosh, yes.
the guy that was on the other side of the wardrobe, the same thing. If you've seen Harry Potter, they're in there. It's where the top half. Oh, there's an old Disney cartoon called Hercules, and in there's a guy named Phil who has top half of a man, bottom half of a goat. This is from Greek mythology. Pan, goat-footed guy. His job in Greek mythology was he had these things called pan pipes, which were magical little flute you could play into. And his whole job was to protect the woods. But he was not a violent person himself. So the way he protected all of his animal friends from hunters is if you were a human and you went into the woods, he would come up behind you and play his little flute and go, hoodly, 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 hoo. And it was magical, and it would then hypnotize you. Once he had you hypnotized, he would lead you deep into the woods doing his little hoodly, hoodly, hoodly.
So he's gonna get out his whistling?
And he would then lead you into the woods. Once you were deep enough into the woods where you were lost, he would then hoodly, whoop, and then stop playing his music.
Then
He
he'd
would
eat
then
you.
come out of it, and he would not. He would run and hide, and then he would let the bears and the wolves and the squirrels come at you, and then they would all come and attack you and kill you. That was how he defended the woods, was by hypnotizing people with his little hoodly hoo. Now here's the question. Why does the poet make a comparison?
Wait, so is he gonna kiss?
And it is not because he's a kidnapper.
It says a goat-footed balloon man, so obviously he's gonna play the whistle. Oh, that's why he did the whistle thing, because they got hypnotized to get a balloon.
There you go.
She's gonna
Because in the reference, could the humans resist his little whistle thing? No. Can the kids resist his whistle of the balloons? No. Same thing, where here is the fact that kids are hearing the little hoodly hoo, and they're hearing it, well, except for him, it's a whole whistle, whistle, and the kids get all excited and come running up and can't fight it, and it finishes out with our balloon man whistles far and wee, and it turns out
So he takes it far?
this whole thing, and here's where you're going to have to really struggle to not yell it out loud, because in a moment, this is where your learning all comes together. Today, for kids nowadays, you have your own balloon man, but your balloon man does not go around a park. Your balloon man goes around neighborhoods. And your balloon man is also a slightly odd, sometimes creepy guy who, instead of whistling, plays music in his little vehicle that goes around. And when kids hear this music, they can't resist it. And they go running up to get the thing that this guy's going around selling. And who is your modern connection?
Ice cream truck!
So it turns out the ice cream man is the exact same thing as the balloon man was for the kids back then. As you see kids excited today who go, ice cream truck! And they go running down the street to go get it. Same thing used to happen, but back for balloons back in the day.
So basically,
But they never come by my house.
Real, me either.
Sure.
Because we're big. Mr. Brovicast,
Big backs everywhere.
I hear them in my neighborhood, but they never come by my
Me
house.
too.
Like, come on, I'm outside waiting for it.
I never get kidnapped either. It's the worst. So now the same questions I showed you at the beginning. What season does it take place?
Beginning
of spring.
And who's the main character?
Balloon man.
What is wrong with the main character?
He kidnaps little kids.
He's creepy.
Lame, which means
He's
he's
broken.
broken. How does he bring people towards him?
Whistles.
There you go. What are piracies?
Like pirates.
Sorry, I was looking at Slavey. You know what a pirate is.
They're fighting.
What does Eddie and Bill mean?
They're fighting.
Who is it that's fighting?
Eddie and Bill.
And what are Betty and Isabel?
Dancing.
Girlies.
Eddie, Betty and Isabel.
What does the goat feet mean?
The pan, the do thing.
Can they resist it?
No.
And what is your current connection?
Ice cream truck.
I told you. That's why I like the poem, is that as weird as it sounds the first time through, once you get a chance to break it down, like that's how the whole thing goes.
People are gonna love this.
Totally. Tomorrow we're going to get into a poem called Annabelle Lee, which is going to be our last big poem we're going to get a chance to do because I have to give you like a new handout that goes into it. Have you guys, do you know who Edgar Allan Poe is?
Yes. No.
So Edgar Allan Poe is the creator of the horror story. He was like the original Stephen King. And so he wrote old scary stories back in the 1800s, and then he did a handful of scary poems. And so we're going to take a look at a scary-ish poem because I
Wait,
figured.
is Annabelle Lee like connected to the movie Annabelle?
Yes and no. Not so much as the fact that the creators of the movie wanted to find a connection to an old creepy thing, and so this is an old creepy thing because what happens in the poem is kind of creepy. I'll tell you this, it does have death and it does have love. It's a love poem with it's a love death poem.
I feel like that's how most of you do.
What are you talking about,
you
Lily?
fall in love, the girl dies, now we're depressed, and then, yeah.
Would you like me to find fewer death things?
No, find more.
I just mean you do it a lot.
Yeah, well, it's because over the years when I didn't do that, kids would complain about the other ones, so that you guys have the joy of me teaching for a long time, where I keep getting rid of all the ones that kids don't like. Because, like, this poem that we did, I figure by the time we get done, most kids are like, wasn't a bad poem as far as poems go. So, we are now done. That is all the learning we have for you today.
We have like how much minutes? Like
2.
this gold.
No.
We do not have 2 minutes.
No, we have 2 minutes.
No, we don't.
You saying no we don't doesn't make it true.
Is it 9:55?
4, 5, 6, 7.